non-believer Matthew Barnaby, a man who probably lost so much money on the Boston Bruins last night. Joey Zudell, 14 years in the NHL, author of Unfiltered. Hey, go buy Barney's book today, all right? Help a guy out. Help a brother out after he's down and out, losing God knows how many units on the Bruins. When you're like, I'm going heavy on Boston, I was like, heavy for you is heavy. So, yeah, condolences, brother. Condolences.
Yeah, buy the book Unfiltered. Yeah. Please. Let's recoup some of that cash. No, yeah. I lost. The Leafs were good, man. That Boston was bad in that first period. They were terrible. Not the way that I thought they were going to come out. So kudos to the Leafs. They came out hard. I thought as the game went along, Boston got a lot better.
Yeah.
And Joseph Wall played really, really well. So a big win by the Leafs. But no, I thought it was going to be all Boston last night. No Austin Matthews. You said it in a tweet right before. It just feels like I should be hammering Boston. But I have a feeling, and the feeling was right. You got a great performance at a Wall and a big win.
Can I tell you something, though? I've had that feeling before, and it's been wrong.
Yeah, usually it's a bad burrito.
Yeah, no. Normally I'm like, yeah, I think, guys, I have to tell you, I think the Leafs are going to do it this time. And then they didn't do it. They didn't end up getting it done. Yesterday they do it, though. Okay, but I actually want to start with that did the Bruins look nervous to you? Like, what did you make about their start and how long it took them to feel like they found their footing in that hockey game?
Yeah, I was listening to analysts during the game talking about them being nervous. I don't see it as being nervous. I just thought it was lackadaisical. So I don't think they have a reason to be nervous, to be honest. They're up 3-1 in the series. Their goaltender is playing great. Their special teams have been awesome, and they're at home. So I just don't see why. I've been up 3-1 in the series before. I've been down in the 3-1 series. I'm certainly a lot more nervous being down 3-1 in the series than being up 3-1. So I don't get that analogy of being nervous, but certainly they were not connecting. They were lackadaisical. The plays were not there. And Toronto came out with a purpose. They played motivated hockey and just desperate hockey. They knew if they lost, the season was over and the questions were going to start. And they were not going to have any of it without their star in the lineup. Sometimes that gives guys a chance to have an elevated role. I thought the two best players were Bertuzzi and Domi on that team last night. And if you take the last half of the game, add Joseph Wall into that mix. Mm-hmm. So it was just a dominating performance at the start, and then they held on for the win and found a way.
Dude, you know what's so funny though is like I know we try to class up hockey now with a lot of the statistics we have, and a lot of them, like, they're useful, right? I don't think that they're overly useful in one game samples and, or even over the course of generally one series. Like, I think that the stats that matter are, power play and penalty kill and goal and save percentage, right? Like, those are the ones I care about more so than like what your shot share was in a one-off playoff game. That being said,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
All I was going to say is, the game is really not that hard to analyze. Like, people are like, oh, they care. They came out with it. It's like, when one team plays with desperation and urgency and the other one doesn't, you can see it. It's super simple. And like, the Leafs didn't in game 4 and they did in game 5. And so I give them credit. They came out with their hair on fire. That's awesome. But it's also so frustrating that they could just lay an egg the way that they did at home in game 4 and then play that way, where it's just like, desperate hockey with their backs against the wall in game 5. And to the Bruins' point, like, yeah, I don't know if they were nervous, but I do wonder if they took the Leafs for granted a bit and said, oh, these guys are going to lay down like dogs. We own these guys. We can come out flat. And that's what bit them in the ass.
I think you nailed it on the head, and I agree with you analytic-wise. Listen, I look at all the analytics too, but I trust my eyes. Listen, are they working hard? Are they forechecking? Are they back-checking? Or are they finishing checks? All those things come into play. Are they the faster team? And clearly, when they came out in that first period, you could see by the shot differential that and the forecheck and the way that they were competing and the way Boston couldn't make a play, that they were more ready to play the game for whatever reason. So, you look at save percentage. The save percentage has been in Boston's favor. The power plays and penalty killing have been in Boston's favor. So you look at those three analytics-wise, and that usually tells the story of a series. You need your eyes. That's all you need to see when looking at the game, in my belief. You can tell a lot about a player. But, if you're evaluating a player in a trade, now you're looking more into analytics and how he scores those goals.
Sure,
you
over a
don't
large
watch
sample.
You don't watch every single shift or every single game for the guy. So that's where it comes into play. But listen, Toronto came out. They were more desperate. They wanted it more than Boston for whatever reason. And I think because Austin Matthews probably wasn't in the lineup, they're like, this is going to be easy. We're at home. We're the better team. And the best player probably in the series, if you look at all the players that are playing in the series, is not playing. This is a layup. This is easy. And their subconscious took over. And then when they got punched in the face halfway through the game, they're like, okay, this isn't going to be that easy. This is going to be tough. And they turned it up a notch, and then they ran into a hot goaltender.
Yeah. No, I think that's bang on. Like the Bruins, it took them at least 2 periods to really get into the game. And then I thought that they were slightly better than the Leafs in the third. I didn't think it was like a cave-in or anything, but Wool stood on his head and made some big saves. And then overtime, boom, it's just, basically a lot of these plays in this game where the two teams floating it like into area plays into the front of the net, right? Like that was the Bruins' whole offensive game plan. They were like, all right, we're going to drive the sides and flip pucks into the middle and then hope somebody finds one. And nobody did, right? Like they just didn't didn't accomplish that in this hockey game. And the Leafs end up being the team that does it at the end, right? Tavares drives the net, throws it in front, and then boom, Matthew Nyes is there to close it out. But yeah, so you said that you didn't feel pressure or nerves up 3-1 in a series. But now if you're Boston, you blew 3-1 last year, and now you just blew that game, and all of a sudden the Leafs have a little bit of hope. You starting to tighten up a little bit now? You worried about them starting to think about it at this point when they're on the plane?
I'm still not, because a lot of these guys have been there before. I'm still not. Is it a little bit more tight than up 3-1 at home? Yeah, because now you're like, well, Toronto's going in. It's just one game, right? That's all their focus is. It's just one game. Let's get us back to Boston. We just have to win on Thursday night. That's all that matters. So. No, I don't think they tighten up. I think they are going to come out with a lot more urgency. I think you're going to see a very aggressive chipping puck team on Thursday night from Boston. But if they do lose Game 6, that's where you start to pucker up. Now you're like, okay, this happened last year. Everything's on our shoulders. All the pressure is on us. So I think if it goes to a Game 7, that's when you start to pucker up. But I still think they fully believe in their team. They're probably hoping that Austin Matthews gets back in the lineup. Joking. But this will be a much different team, I believe, on Thursday night.
Yeah, I think so too. All I will say though is, it's not Patrice Bergeron led Bruins, right? Like it's not Zdeno Chara led Bruins. It's just, it's to say Brad Marchand. I actually really, I hate to admit this publicly because I don't think I've ever done this before, but like I really like Brad Marchand. Like I love his game. And it's the same reason why I liked your game. Like I'm sure you like his game too. It's just dudes that play with that energy and that effort and to put in the psychological stuff and care the way they do. It's like, yeah, plus he's been a Team Canada guy. He's part of he's got personality in the game. I'm just a fan. I don't like how much he dives. Like I think that's kind of a tough one. You fought, he doesn't. So that's a big difference in terms of the way that you two guys, the difference that you agitate. He's, way better than you, but whatever.
Hey, I'll trade the 200 fights for the 100 points.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's
you'd have to be incredibly biased towards your team to not think he's an amazing player.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Like you put all your feelings aside on how you feel as him as competing against him, and yes, does he embellish? Of course, but there's no one can say. Like I've always said, he is what I would have dreamt to be. You draw the penalty, and then I would come off, and then Pat LaFontaine or Sakic or Messier would come onto the ice and score a goal for the power play. And I felt great. I'd take the punch or whatever it was. He gets to draw the penalty and then stick it to you one more time as he scores. That's the epitome of what you want for what he does. That's why he infuriates people so much.
Dude, so again, I respect his game. But there's two things. One, when he had the odd man rush in overtime, I genuinely screamed on my couch. It was so embarrassing. Said, anyone but him. I screamed, anyone but him. But then also, I
can gather there were some superlatives along the way there.
Yeah, there were.
You just didn't say anybody but him.
Yeah, I did. It was that actually, and then I said please, and I did please God. So
Hey, have you heard the country song? This is my wife's country song to me. I only talk to God when I need a favor.
Oh yes, I haven't heard that song, but that is
I feel like that's you too.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. I have broken my promise to God so many times. Like, man, if this just happens, trust me, I'll be there. I promise. I'll be there. I'll be at mass. He never shows up.
My wife's shaking her head right now. Yeah,
exactly. So I've asked for a lot of favors. Actually, you know what? Maybe this is why the Leafs are cursed. Maybe this is fully on me. But no, the second part that I was going to say about him is it would be something real sweet if he was the first captain in North American pro sports to, be the leader of the team that blew 3-1 2 years in a row. All I'm saying is that. So I believe that, maybe they'll be able to not pucker up in this one, but boy, that flight back to Boston, if Toronto steals game 6, can't imagine there's a lot of trying to keep it loose and be cool about it. Okay, so you mentioned that top line, right? You said that the two best players were Bertuzzi and Domi. Full marks to both those guys, but what did you think about Mitch? Because he's been getting hammered here, like to a degree that I gotta say I don't ever remember a guy getting killed this bad. Like there's never been a goaltender. There's never like Jake Gardiner didn't get it anywhere close to this. This is a whole new level for a place that gets red hot about whipping boys. Mitch Marner has been in the eye of the storm, and I thought that yesterday he came out, he created, and like his line was 7-0 for shots to start the game. Like, what did you make of Mitch, and what do you want to see moving forward?
No, I thought you responded very, very well to the criticism. Is it warranted? Yeah, he hasn't been the Mitch Marner that we expect or that we've seen during the regular season, but has he been that bad? I don't think he's been that bad. Having said that, if they do not advance, I do think he is the guy, and I've said this all year long, that he is the guy that will be moved. Nylander won't. Austin Matthews won't. So it leaves two guys, and I think he is the guy. But the one thing I'd like to see from Mitch, he can shoot the puck, and he passed up some shots that just fire it. And one of his greatest chances was right off the faceoff where he let one rip. Rip it. You don't always have to dangle and make that super pass. I know he's a pass first guy. I know he's got great lateral movement and people go with him and he finds the open guy, but I'd like to see him shoot the puck more. And that goes along with Domi. Domi had two chances during the game where, he might be able to end it or give him the lead, and he passes up that shot. So I'd like to see that shot first mentality a little bit more from those guys. But he had a very good game. He was very, very good, and a big reason why they're extending this to Game 6.
Yeah, I think the Marner stuff is pretty obvious. Like he hasn't driven play like a guy with his making his money. And I'm sorry, but this is a part of it. Is like when you talk about all the things that have frustrated fans, Marner is now a direct representation of many of those things. So, the play, there's an account that I really like called JFresh on Twitter, and he does a good job, with analytics. Again, I don't want to sound like I'm just completely dunking on these things, but he has this account where he basically broke down Marner's shot suppression of other top lines over the course of his playoff career. And that's something that he doesn't get credit for, right? Like, he is one of the Leafs' more, stout defensive forwards, and that he'll get tough matchups, and even in those matchups, we can look at it kind of year over year, and even throughout this series, matched up with Pasternak, and they'll end up having a better shot share. And Pasternak hasn't had this incredible impact on the series so far, right? He hasn't felt like his normal Leaf killer, dangerous self. Yep. So Marner is a fine player. He's not the worst player in the universe. But when people think about the team as too soft and too small, and then he's given up a turnover, right? Because he's ducking out on a hit, he's bailing on one. You're like, damn. When you're seeing him throw his gloves on the bench and he looks like he's whining, you think, damn, that's one. He's made excuses in the past. He's a high salary player. And if you're looking at this thing moving forward and saying, well, what's ever going to change? Well, he's up for a new contract, and Kipper reported that he wants to make more than Nylander. And so it's all of those things that are working against the guy. His play, I'm trying to evaluate it just through that lens, right? I think that's what's most fair. But I totally understand why he's taking it from all angles, and he should understand it. His camp should understand it. This really shouldn't be that difficult of a thing for people to get. That all of this is at play, and Mitch is now a representative essentially for all of the ills of the Toronto Maple Leafs over the last couple of years, fairly or unfairly.
That's the reality of making $11 million.
Yeah, of course.
The biggest market in the world, being down 3-1 in the series with a team with a history of not having success in the postseason. Listen, he is more of a perimeter player than probably anyone of those stars that we are talking about. Mm-hmm. And when your team is down 3-1, yeah, is Pasternak been the Pasternak that we expect? No, but they've been up 3-1. Now they're up 3-2. And let's not forget, he's a Stanley Cup champion. Like he has won Stanley Cups. So he's going to get more of a break, even if he isn't at his top, because of past success that he's had. Mitch Marner has not had that. Therefore, he is going to take it even harder when the team isn't going, and he's one of the highest paid players in the league. So that's just the reality of making that kind of money, and that's what comes with it. You know it. Everyone knows it. The player knows it. And frustrated saying, oh, he's going home, and it's not only me, it's this, it's that. But for them to have success, or him to be not in the crosshairs of fans and media, he's got to put up points, and they got to win. Mm-hmm. That's just fact.
Yeah, he's got to put up points. He's got to win. He's got to feel dangerous. And at least last night, what I really liked about Mitch is he felt dangerous, creating plays. Like he did have that one shot off the face-off. He was creating for others. There was like a pass he made to, I think it was Yarncroc, where he couldn't get he whiffed on it. He whiffed on the pass, and I think if he connects with it, it might go in the back of the net, or it goes 10 feet over the net, whatever. But it was like a solid opportunity. He had a bunch of those where he's circling, but you're right. The perimeter play, if he can find ways like he has again in the series too. One was on an odd man rush where he created an assist, but the other one was where he got his goal. If he can get to those areas and he can create, I think that like he has a real chance to kind of turn this narrative around. Okay, so for them, from a media standpoint too, with the Leafs, is there something freeing for them right now? Like, hey, Matthews likely isn't coming back in this series. He's not coming. I don't think he's coming back for Game 6. If he does, he's going to be a very compromised version of himself. Is there something freeing that everyone has kicked dirt on him, everyone has trashed him, everyone has absolutely killed him for the last, I don't know, it's been since Game 1, really. Like, they've been taking it since Game 1. But they were written off for dead after 3-1. Like, how do you think they are in that room right now? Like, does that take pressure off them?
Well, just the win and living another day and coming back home. Yeah. They have life. There's no one in that dressing room that didn't believe that they were going to win yesterday. Mm-hmm. And that's what people have to understand is, as much as the media and the fans might be down on them, the players in that room, when you're down 3-0 or 3-1, obviously 3-1 being much better than 3-0, but the players in that room believe that they're going to win. They believe that they're going to win Game 6. And I don't believe, and the good teams don't believe or even start thinking about Game 7. All that matters is Thursday. And I really think that Mitch Marner is a proud guy. He wants to be the best. He wants to be not the best on the Toronto Maple Leafs. He wants to be the best in the world. I really think he has that in him. He's got that fight. He's got that ego that wants to be the best. So having that game, having that success, and now he's like, okay, I can do this again. I know how good a player I am. I just have to do it in Game 6 and push it Game 7, and this narrative is totally going to change because it hurts. It hurts when media is saying you're not doing your job or you're underachieving, whatever it may be. And anyone that says, oh, we don't read the papers, we don't listen to talk radio or the TV, it's bullshit. It's complete and utter bullshit. Everyone listens. So he's a proud guy. I think he'll be good in Game 6. Will it be enough? We'll have to wait till Thursday night. Yeah. God. I don't know. I hope he can continue to persevere through this and that this ends up happening. And I know I get my feelings hurt too. I see some mean tweets, but it's also like that's the job. Yeah. And like for a guy like Mitch, when I am less sympathetic for all of these guys at the time, like, do I think that stuff stings? But I do the Don Draper thing of, that's what the money's for is you do get $11 million. And yeah, you're gonna get criticism when you don't play well. Like that's gonna end up happening. If it wasn't, it'd be what a life you would have if it was just completely stress free. You just get the $11 million and do whatever. Try, don't try, show up, yeah, so whatever. Anyway, so Game 6, what do you think happens? Well, I'm not loading up on the Bruins. I can tell you that.
You're just gonna stay away from it. Stay away.
I will be in Toronto tomorrow, so I'm
if you live, you sound like you're dying. Like it's like if you make it, it's like don't come near me.
I've been nonstop traveling, and I think I'm coming down with a little bit of a cold.
Yeah, that'll happen.
So I've been on the road for about 2 weeks. So going to Toronto, and I'm not glad that I lost money because I'm going to need Venmo from everyone that's listening right now. I'm going to be in Toronto for this game at an event this weekend. So I'm excited on that part. But listen,
did Edmonton win while you were there?
They won 1-0.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So you're good luck. And you're good luck in 1-0 games. All right. Good to know. Good to know. All right. Matthew Barnaby, winner, coming in here hot.
Coming in hot. I think I'm going to bet the under-over in this game, and I'm going to go over. I think there's going to be more goals.
Over. Oh, yeah. Okay. See, now you're playing into how I was gambling yesterday, which is into the mystic, playing the mystic angle. Like, hey, zero signs. Leafs have now had 12 playoff games in a row where they haven't cracked 3 goals, and they only cracked 3 or cracked 2 in one of them, where they had 3 goals one time. And here you are, you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
Leafs got a better goalie in that, and Swayman's been red hot. Leafs never score, and their power plays 1 of 17. Over.
I'm one of those where, I really think the under, so the over is going to hit. That's the point I'm at right now. That's not good.
That's not good. That's never a good place to be when you're doubting yourself. That's how
Listen, I think Boston is going to come out and probably have their best start like the Leafs had in Game 5. I think the Leafs are going to be able to weather the storm. I think Wall is going to be good for them. He looked really solid, like we said. I don't know. I just feel now. Listen, I thought this was going to end in 5, to be honest. I never thought 4. I was joking around on Twitter, and sometimes we do that, and it's fun. And to piss off certain fan bases, it's fun. Yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy being an antagonist.
You're you. So people aren't surprised by that answer. But go on.
It really feels like 7. Yeah. It really feels like 7 right now.
It really does feel like 7. It really does feel like 7. I got to say, I agree. It does feel like 7. But by the way, that's only making me now doubt it even further, being like, wow, you're so dumb. You're so dumb. You're going to sit on the couch. You're going to have to mope over to do Leafs talk the second the game's over and be like, yeah, no, I never believed for a second. Going 7, I thought they were done for sure. That's going to suck. Anyways, buddy.
Baby Jesus.
Anyways, safe travels to the city, and I'll be chatting with you. Thanks for making time, pal.
Cheers, brother.
See ya.